for him.
So once again, track crew finishing up over here on the grandstand side. And hats off Scott Frieder and his track crew for what a track we have had here all weekend long. Of course, his hospitality, but what a great job this track crew has done all weekend long. 3 sessions of pulling action, and it has been great, all 3.
I've had several pullers mention to me in conversation this afternoon. They love it. There's space here. They love that they can come and get picked up. The tractor crew takes them all the way through, takes them all the way around the track, run the tractor, back to the hauler. Smooth, flawless, seamless. Good pads for the scales. It's great. Got to flirting with that sideline. Jerry was able to save it, kept it in. Cost him some distance, but you know what? I'd be willing to bet he's got a huge grin on his face underneath that helmet.
Yes, he does. Hang on to it there, Jerry, for a minute as we'll go back here to the replay. Right about that point, it was like he hit the brake, and we saw it come back around, and then it started doing a little bit of hopping out there.
Yeah, one-wheeled on him just ever so slightly, and goes into bounds at 297.58, 297.58.
All right, fans, so over on the modified side, we'll go back Golden Gate, Illinois, Southern Illinois, Steve Bunnage, and that takes a Lickin tractor. As he'll have the transverse mounted engine sitting sideways on this tractor. Now, coming to the line, he's going to have 3 of those engines running, the 3 of the Hemis running. He'll fire up that 4th engine as he leaves the starting line. In that 4th engine, it's down a hole.
It is. It's sick. There's a hole in the cylinder head at the number 2 cylinder of the back right motor. So they have grounded the spark plug out to the cylinder head. They took the push rods out, loosened up all the valve train, and it's just going to be along for the ride.
So needs an excellent run, as you can see up on the scoreboard. Sits in that number 6 spot. So he's looking to make up at least 2 and then maybe 4 here tonight to get into that Enderley. So they're going to try everything they possibly can. Of course, you see those big vertical injector hats that were so popular so many years ago.
Yeah, they were everywhere there for a stretch, and but now he's kind of one of the only guys out that's still running them, and they're having trouble getting those engines to idle down enough to where he can put it into gear. And they killed that back motor now. Force the clutches closed here and refire it.
Yeah, controlled chaos down there. Everybody kind of working around here. Steve directing from the seat.
Knows what he needs to have happen. He's on the bubble. Motioning for more people. Help me, shut them. And they're grabbing that supplementary injector line to try and richen up the engines and slow them down even more. Stress and drama right here. He says, okay, I got it. Everybody get out of the way.
All right, so crewman Marty Wilson, he just texted me. He said, we're only going to run 3 here, so they're not going to try to run that 4th engine. So we'll do the count here as we go around this tractor and firing up those engines.
Yeah, left front died on him now.
All right, so engine number 3 comes to life there. Left front engine.
I don't know. Looks to me like they're all running.
Looks like we got 4 going. All right, here we go. Steve Bunnage, Golden Gate, Illinois. Looking to go better than 346.81. Bill Leishner, our leader.
I think that left front one gave up a blower belt.
Yeah, we'll go back on the replay there. Good run there for Steve Bunnage. Got over to that left side. And we could see, oh boy.
Oh yeah, that
oil.
Well, that back right motor is a little bit more damaged than what it was.
Yeah, we see parts and pieces out the bottom there. Tough break, fans. Let's put our hands together for Steve Bunnage.
John Card, if you're watching at Sassy Racing Engines, be ready for a phone call in about 5 minutes.
Was that the shop lights they just turned on?
Yeah.
Brownsburg, Indiana.
Brandon Hunt, living a dream. Ooh. Something letting go there in the front of the motor. He was one of those top 4 that was knotted up in this afternoon session. They're calling for the hook.
All right, fans, so 3:18.67 for Steve Bunnage, 3:18.67. And that will put him in that number 2 spot currently. So number 2 spot for Steve Bunnage behind Bill Leishner at 346.81. So this will be interesting here as Charles heads down trackside. Take a look here at the Living a Dream, and we've got a lot of oil out the bottom. Brandon out of the seat. Been a tough night for a lot of competitors here. So Brandon looks over at brother Darren there as they're conferring, and yeah, that does not look good as Brandon slams the gloves back into the helmet. Well, fans, once again, tough luck round of applause there for Brandon Hunt. As we've got some more hurt parts out there. As here we'll take a look at Steve Bunnage's number 2 run out there on the replay board. And you can see how quickly that tractor moved over to that right side. Had to get on that brake, but nonetheless, 3:18.67. Then right at this point, you see the smoke out of the pipes of that left front engine. And it just started eating itself at that point. It's been a tough night, but 3:18.67, he did what he needed to do. Of course, the points calculations, we'll figure that out once we get to the end of this modified class. So 3:16.98 will be the distance here for Brandon Hunt, 3:16.98. But as we saw Brandon down there trackside, did not look happy. And I think they might have wounded the Living a Dream here tonight, but we'll wait officially here from the word from Charles Posch as he makes his way back to the post here. Yeah, Charles, we saw a lot of sparks and did not look good. We saw Brandon get off the tractor. He was not happy, confirmed with Darren, and I'd have to say they hurt one.
Yeah, they hurt it, but at this point, talking to his dad and his brother Shane there, they're not really sure what let go. It looks like some block pieces. They may have broken that block, which they have done before. Whatever that was, it was hot when it got set down. Mom's collecting parts.
All right, fans, so back to the start line. Modified side, Joe Pintak, North Collins, New York. He's going to drive the North American here tonight. Of course, Joe and brother Bob share the driving duties on this modified. Just about an hour south of the Buffalo, New York area. Of course, the Pintak brothers also run a two-wheel drive, which we saw the other night, Thursday night, in our truck night here at the Sandwich Fair. So former champions in Western New York competition, state level competition, before they decided to venture on out onto the Grand National Circuit. So they will be our second to last modified to go. Matter of fact, both tractors left to go here in the modified class out of the state of New York. One from Western New York, one from all the way out east in Eastern New York, as that'll be Dylan Owens with the Thorn. So the North American 540 Dodge engines on there. You take a look at the headers, different combination. Well, looks like a small block Chevy header on there, but those are 540 Dodges.
Boy, for Brandon Hunt, we're going to have to bring out some reinforcements. We need a telehandler. We're going to have to pick it up to get it off. The tow was not going to do it.